Let's start with the comments. Let's just listen to what Cam Skattebo's got to say. Unbelievable.
You think CTE is a real thing?
No. It's an excuse.
I think asthma's an excuse too.
Yeah.
Is that a hot take?
No, that's a good
That's
take.
valid.
Yes, asthma's fake.
Is there anything worse than when you're in 4th grade and someone's huffing and puffing, you're just soft?
Yeah, just literally
Be better.
breathe air.
That's New York Giants running back Kim Skattebo on a podcast, claiming CTE isn't real and asthma is fake, and the internet absolutely lost its mind. Within hours, social media exploded with outrage. Sports journalists wrote think pieces. People who've never watched a Giants game suddenly care deeply about this 23-year-old's medical opinions. But here's what nobody's asking. Why are we expecting scientific expertise from a kid who runs into walls for a living?
This was the Bring the Juice with Frank Delina podcast. Interesting. Maybe the whole thing is a bit and I'm getting too old regardless if they were trying to be funny or whatever. It doesn't come off that way. And it hardly represents a pivot away from Skattebo's overall vibe, which includes, for instance, a pregame ritual that looks like someone pointed a golf cart at a wall and put a brick on the pedal.
The backlash was immediate and predictable. Awful announcing ran the story. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio covered it extensively. Twitter erupted with thousands of responses calling Skattebo everything from ignorant to dangerous. People brought up Chris Benoit. They mentioned Aaron Hernandez. They predicted Skattebo would end up drooling into a bedpan before he's 30. The moral outrage machine kicked into overdrive. But let's pump the brakes for a second. This is the same kid whose pregame ritual looks like pointing a golf cart at a wall and putting a brick on the pedal. His entire personality since Arizona State has been pure chaos and pranks. He's basically a younger Rob Gronkowski, and nobody expected deep medical insights from Gronk either.
For the sake of just getting angry. And my goodness, people are angry. Some people, not everybody. I agree with him to an extent. Everyone has a degree of CTE from just living life. Blaming your retardation on it is 100% an excuse. Obviously not true, but CTE is way overblown amongst the general population. I hear people say they won't let their kids play football because of it. Laughing my ass off.
Look at the contrast in reactions. Some people immediately understood this was likely a bit, two guys cutting it up on a podcast trying to be edgy. Others treated it like Skattebo just denied the Holocaust. The divide tells you everything about how we consume sports media now. We're so primed for outrage that we can't distinguish between genuine harmful statements and obvious shock jock material. The Buccaneers dealt with something similar recently when a fake Ajayi Buka account tweeted, "Is CTE even real?" The team moved quickly to clarify the account had no connection to their player. They understood the liability, but Skattebo, he said it himself on video with his face attached. No walking that back.
It all came from this. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you. I don't know. But the kid's got an opinion. Probably believes in Adam and Eve too. Yeah, people are attacking Christians in this somehow, some way. That sounds like something someone with CTE would say. CTE in his brain realizing Operation Speak Through Him worked. I mean, what are we doing? Back in the 80s, we played with multiple concussions all the time. Concussions go away, but state championship rings last forever. Bravo!
Here's where it gets interesting though. Buried in all the outrage were people making legitimate points. One commenter wrote, "CTE is real, but it's way overblown amongst the general population. I hear people say they won't let their kids play football because of it." Another said, "The lifelong lessons and friendships you'll build far outweigh the risk of CTE at youth levels." Those are reasonable perspectives worth discussing, but they get drowned out because we're too busy performing moral superiority priority on social media. Nobody wants nuanced conversation about CTE risk assessment across different levels of play. They want to dunk on the dumb jock who said something controversial. And yes, CTE is absolutely real. The science is established. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy results from repeated head trauma. We've seen the brain tissue studies. We know what happened to Junior So, Dave Durison, and dozens of other former players. This isn't debatable.
Few people that are actually not reading too much into this. Someone with CTE would say, yeah, that's the CTE talking. He isn't exactly the guy we want to be the spokesman for this. It's not real until you get it. He said while eating a box of crayons for sure. Someone disproving science is made up. Let me guess, he's religious. See? Good luck with the CTE in the future, bud. Look at Antonio Brown. That's you. He's going to be the poster boy for CTE. Says the guy probably suffering from CTE. Sigh, this is really scary to hear him say this. Jesus Christ. You know what we've gotten rid of?
But here's what nobody wants to acknowledge. The NFL's dramatic rule changes around head injuries weren't primarily about player safety. They were about liability, about avoiding massive lawsuits. The league had to act once the science became public and undeniable. Suddenly, you couldn't breathe on a quarterback's helmet. Defensive players got flagged for tackles that were legal their entire careers. The game fundamentally changed. Was that necessary? Probably. Was it motivated by genuine concern for player welfare? That's debatable. The NFL is a business protecting its assets and its bank account. Player safety became a priority when it became a legal liability, not a moment before. And this is where Skattebo's comments, stupid as they sound, tap into something real. There's a segment of football culture that resents how the game has changed. They see it as soft. They remember playing through concussions in high school and think kids today are coddled. It's wrong, but it's a real perspective that exists in locker rooms across America.
Of course, he got that horrible injury. He's got it already. He said asthma wasn't real. Do we believe either one of those guys really feel that way? Because I don't. I mean, I'm sorry. Couple of dudes, cutting it up. I mean, seriously. Florio, I knew you were going to love this and post it. I'm sure he liked to broke his fingers posting it. I mean, you know. Says the dude that quit playing football this season because of an injury, which just seems like an excuse.
The religious angle people brought into this is fascinating too. Multiple commenters connected Skattebo's denial of established science to religious fundamentalism. Let me guess, he's religious, one person wrote. Another said, probably believes in Adam and Eve too. That's where the conversation went completely off the rails. What does CTE have to do with Christianity? Nothing. But in our current discourse, everything becomes tribal. If someone says something that sounds anti-science, we immediately try to figure out what other wrong beliefs they must hold. Conservative, religious, Republican, we're building entire personality profiles based on one podcast clip. This is exactly the kind of lazy thinking that prevents actual understanding. Maybe Skattebo's deeply religious, maybe he's not. Either way, it's irrelevant to whether he understands traumatic brain injuries. Plenty of devout Christians accept medical science. Plenty of atheists believe conspiracy theories. The connection people are making says more about their own biases than anything about Skattebo's.
Hopefully when he snaps, he only takes himself out and doesn't harm anyone else. And of course, we got people that have drugged Chris Benoit into this, and I'm thinking, have you ever heard of steroid rage? As somebody that's powerlifted and bodybuilding and been around dudes and seen how quickly guys snap. And that's something nobody brings up in all of the violence that's around CTE, is the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports, and the fact that all these guys got a little crazy in them anyway to get out there and run themselves into a wall.
What's really happening here is we've created an environment where athletes can't joke, can't be sarcastic, can't say anything remotely controversial without facing immediate professional consequences. Every word gets analyzed, clipped, shared, and weaponized. The humanity gets stripped away. They become content machines who better stay on message or face the mob. Is that healthy? Is that the relationship we want with athletes? Because it's creating a generation of players who give the most boring, sanitized interviews imaginable. They say nothing, they reveal nothing. They thank God, credit their teammates, and talk about taking it one game at a time. And then we complain that athletes have no personality. You can't have it both ways. Either we allow athletes to be human, which means sometimes they'll say dumb things, or we demand perfection and get robots. Skattebo chose to be himself, consequences be damned, and honestly there's something refreshing about that, even when what he's saying is objectively wrong.
You know, he's a joker, he's a prankster. He is the 10-year younger version of Rob Gronkowski. Well, you going to getting your science from Rob Gronkowski? Because I'm not. Or Cam Skattebo. No. I'm also not going to piss all over this kid over it. Tell me what you think. Are you all butthurt over this? Are you offended? Are you crying? I'll get some down votes. That's fine. That's fine. Some of the free thinkers out there, y'all hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching.
So where does this leave us? Kim Skattebo said something stupid on a podcast. CTE is real. Asthma is real. Nobody with functioning brain cells actually disputes this. But the reaction reveals something broken in how we engage with sports media. We're addicted to outrage. We're addicted to finding the next thing to be mad about. Someone said something controversial? Perfect. Drop everything. Quote tweet it, write your hot take, explain why you're so much smarter and more enlightened than this dumb athlete. Get your likes, feel superior. Move on to the next outrage tomorrow. Meanwhile, the actual important conversations don't happen. We don't talk about how to make football safer at youth levels while preserving the sport's benefits. We don't discuss how to support retired players dealing with brain injuries. We don't examine the NFL's financial incentives around player health. We just perform outrage and move on. The Giants probably won't discipline Skattebo. He'll maybe issue some half-hearted apology, his PR team writes. Social media will be mad for another day or two. Then everyone will forget about it until the next athlete says something stupid, and the cycle continues. But here's my question for you. Do you actually want athletes to have personalities? Do you want them to speak their minds? Or do you want them to be carefully managed brands who never say anything interesting? Because you can't have both. Skattebo gave you personality. He gave you his actual thoughts, unfiltered and unpolished. They were dumb thoughts, but they were real. The alternative is every athlete sounds like they're reading from the same corporate script. No opinions, no edge, no humanity. Just content-safe sound bites designed to offend nobody and say nothing. If that's what we're demanding, don't be surprised when sports media becomes even more boring than it already is. So yeah, CTE is real. Skattebo is wrong. But maybe, just maybe, we're also wrong for expecting scientific literacy from a 23-year-old whose job is to run really fast while carrying a ball. Maybe we're wrong for turning every dumb comment into a national crisis. Maybe we're wrong for forgetting that athletes are human beings who sometimes say stupid things just like the rest of us. What do you think? Was this outrage justified, or are we all just looking for something to be mad about on a Saturday? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're tired of fake outrage and want actual sports analysis, hit that subscribe button, because this circus isn't stopping anytime soon.